Hey everyone, welcome to Shildon Brick Show from Brick Alley Lug and Locomotion. My name's Graham Hancock and we have got Jack Horner with us, who's got what promises to be a pretty impressive Lego build to share. Hey Jack.
Hi, Graham.
So what are you showing us today?
Well, today, Graham, we've got the Saturn V launch tower and a lot of other real space models.
That looks amazing.
So it's based upon the Saturn V model that was released by Lego, easily one of the best models they've ever released, and it's good to see it back in the shops again. And effectively, I've scaled the launch tower to match up with the Saturn V rocket. I've also built at the bottom, you can just about to see, but at the bottom we have the crawler, which was used to effectively transport the rocket to the launch pad back in the late 60s.
Oh wow. So how did building the whole tower and everything come about?
I think I'd seen a few people starting to sort of look at building the launch tower, and it was such an impressive model to have. I thought I've got to build one, so I started designing one myself using Lego Digital Designer, and then effectively it kind of came on from that. And I wanted to build the crawler to go with it, and effectively went on from that until it was finally constructed.
And how did you kind of go about starting this model? You've got the Lego set already, you know how massive that is, so you know what a ridiculous undertaking you're doing. Where did you start from with it?
It's actually it's a lot easier if you know what scale you're going to build to. One of the most difficult things I find is picking the scale that you're going to build to, then sticking with it. At least with something like the Saturn V, we knew what size the rocket was, then you know approximately what sort of size each of these sections are. I mean, it was actually very easy in a way, because each of these different floors is almost an identical unit with some slight differences in detail. So if you're designing it electronically, you can just copy and paste it all the way up.
Do you have any idea how many parts you've used in this model?
I think it was around about 11,000, I think, overall for the whole thing.
And how many parts are in this set? Because
that's about 2,000. I think it was 1969 in the set, famously.
That's right, yeah. Because the number relates to the year that it actually.
Yeah.
And how long did it take you to put this together?
Wasn't too long, actually. It was only about 2 or 3 months, I think, to build it, in terms of the designing it and ordering the parts from Bricklink and other sources, and effectively what I had, and then putting it together. So it wasn't too bad.
How close did it end up being to that digital version that you did before you started ordering parts?
Oh, exactly.
Oh wow!
It's exactly the same as the digital version, apart from the fact that every time I take it to a show, there's some bits fall off, and I never know where they go back. So apart from that, it's exactly the same as the original version, apart from the slew of bits in the bottom of the box.
And what was the most challenging part of it to put together?
Oh, that's a good question. Probably when I was trying to sort of detail some of these gantries and getting all this sort of detail put on. That was probably some of the thing when I was actually putting all the detail together. These bits the floors are actually quite similar, so I use a similar design across all of them. But yeah, it's trying to get all the pipe work, because you won't see. You might see on the other side, but down the side there's all the pipe work going up the side, and it's the same on the other side as well. Just to try and replicate all the electrical and fuel pipes that were actually on the tower itself.
And were there any techniques that you used in this model that you hadn't used before?
Well, I think some of them there's a lot underneath for the crawler. There was a lot of use of the Technic crawler tracks to try and simulate the actual tracks of the real thing. The other thing actually came from the model itself. So from the Saturn V itself, I used a lot of the techniques and a lot of the thing to actually construct. This is the Soyuz. So this is a mock I built, and this is one of the most used spacecraft ever. And effectively, the Soyuz used almost an identical construction technique to what was in the Saturn V, and I just effectively built upon that to get almost a very similar looking, smooth, stud-free surface.
I think that's so cool, because sometimes people think that Lego sets stop people from being creative, but actually the techniques and the things in the instructions that you can learn can spark a new wave of creativity.
Yes, it's getting more and more. The sets are becoming more and more, I guess, fan orientated. There's a lot more snot building that's ongoing. That stud's not on top for anyone that's new to this. So effectively, yeah, there's an awful lot of techniques now that are being used in, I guess, people's MOCs that have come from Lego rather than just the traditional, I guess, brick on brick construction.
And you mentioned that this had been to some of the shows. So which physical shows were you able to get this MOC to?
It's been to Shildon once or twice. It's been to some shows around Sheffield. I think it went to North Notts one year. It's famous for workshop. It's been up to Discovery in Newcastle. And I've also done a few educational things, which was quite good. So we did a place at South Shields. We did a library with Steve Mays, who's actually on next. And we also did another show with like local scout group when they wanted to discuss space for one of the badges. So it's quite a good piece because you can. I'm very interested in space anyway, but you can use it as an educational piece for the kids.
That's awesome, because again, like Lego is such a thing that draws children in. So yeah, I mean, if you can pull them in with the Lego and then, throw in some education on top, that works really well.
Indeed.
And what kind of reaction does this get at shows? I mean, I take it's often one of the tallest things in the room.
Yeah, pretty much. There's not a lot that's taller. So yeah, most people are quite impressed by it. I hope. I think you get a lot of people chatting about it and reminiscing. I mean, there's not a lot of people now really old enough to remember like the moon landings and that, but you do get a lot of people talking about all the various sets they had as a kid and any space Lego they may have it as a kid, which of course I had as well. So yeah, it's very good. It does spark a lot of conversations.
And which other Lego fan builders do you admire the most?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, we tend to go on a lot of the Facebook groups or things like AFOLs of Facebook, Eurobricks, things like that. I don't think I really have any one particular favourite at all. Actually, I can't think of anyone.
And it would only offend everyone else to pick someone.
Richard.
So that's probably quite a safe way to play it.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Richard was just trying to catch my attention and said that obviously Bricks McGee was my favourite builder.
I feel like he's definitely influencing the choice there. Is there anything that you do differently?
I'd want to change probably how I constructed the stairs, simply because they use 1x2 red plates and then effectively basically overlap and they keep falling apart because it's not very strong. These bits as well are also they're not very strong. I'm going to put them back up every show I go to. And then I would, much to a lot of my group's amusement, I probably would motorize it as well so it could move.
Is that something you've been getting some stick for?
Just a little Graham.
And what's your favourite memory of Shildon Brick Show?
I think probably the first show that we did way back in 2017, 2018. It was so we'd never really ran anything that even we never tried running anything as large. We tend to do small sort of village hall shows, and we just thought, oh, we'll run a free show at Shildon and see what it was like. And I remember standing in the middle of at the front of like the exhibits where we were, right at the front where all the trains were. It is a very, very impressive venue. And I remember looking out and we could see people queuing about as far as the eye can see. And we're like, maybe it was actually more of a problem as the amount of people we were getting was getting a bit too much. But it's just an abiding memory looking at all the people queuing to get in when it was absolutely rammed. And it was like, wow, we must be quite popular. So that's probably my abiding memory that I can obviously put on video on YouTube.
That's amazing. That's so cool. Well, thank you so much, Jack, for walking us through your build. It's really amazing.